Okay, hello everyone. Welcome again on YourPedia Education. Today I have very special guest with me whose name is Noel, and he recently got fully funded PhD in United States. So he got selection in Oklahoma University in mechanical engineering, and his PhD is fully funded. So I have a lot of questions for you, Noel, first of all. But before that, I want to congratulate you for this opportunity. And there are a lot of questions I want to ask on the behalf of student. But before that, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So my name is Noel M. Rajiv. I am from Trivandrum, Kerala. So I'm basically from a mechanical engineering background. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from the University of Kerala, and then for 1.5 years I worked in the private industry. I worked for an aerospace company, and the client was ISRO. So I worked in ISRO facility here, Liquid Propulsion System Center here in Trivandrum. Then I decided that I wanted to do higher studies, so I left the job so that I could go for gate coaching. So for 1 year, I spent on gate coaching, and after clearing gate exam in 2020, I joined as a MTech student in NIT Meghalaya in fluid and thermal engineering. So,
Mhm.
so it was in Shillong, Meghalaya. So the first year, we all know, it was COVID year. So the first year was online, and the second year I went to campus. So from 2020 to 22, I was there. And after my MTech, I decided I wanted to do PhD, and especially abroad. So I got a good opportunity to do work as a JRF in IIT Bhilai in Raipur.
Mhm.
So there I went there. So it was a research opportunity. So I thought that would be good for my profile, and therefore it was. I joined there in Raipur. While I was at Raipur, I joined YourPedia so that I could get help through the processes that was required. So it was a great help for me. I during those time I wrote the GRE, IELTS, and all, and cleared this, and that's how I applied to many colleges, and finally I got an admission, as you said, in Oklahoma State University in mechanical engineering, and to be more specific, in fluid engineering I got. So that's the
Great,
current
Noel.
status.
Great.
Right.
Before I come to this PhD process, first of all, I want to know because there are many students who are working in private sector, and I hope like your job is seems very interesting. You are working for ISRO, and it's I think technical job role. So why you left that? Like, why you think you have to do higher studies?
Okay, so the thing is, it sounds fanciful. I mean, it was interesting experience only working in ISRO. So you're working with ISRO scientists, but ultimately you are working for a private company, and you can feel that it's a private job. Basically, it's a private
Mhm.
job. You're working in a government facility, but you are working as a private job. So even though it was a good learning experience, I decided that there is no much potential for growth, especially in the mechanical industry here in India. To
Mhm.
get into the more research R&D section and all, I can't do with, because that experience was a production experience, like a production engineer. So I can
Mhm.
work in the manufacturing industry, and it's going to be hectic. So I saw
Mhm.
many people already working there for many years. So the growth was, I
Mhm.
was not satisfied with that much amount of growth. So I
Mhm.
thought that I also wanted to be someone who worked in the R&D sector. So for that, that's why decided that I want to learn more, become more specialized. So, and
Mhm.
yeah, it was a good growth for a fresher, I would say. It was a good opportunity, but I wouldn't not recommend anyone to stay there for a longer time, because just because of their
Mhm.
career. If they want career growth, if they want to get into more specifics of the mechanical industry, I would say that you would go into R&D. That's why I decided that
Mhm.
it is a good job, but still I want to grow more. So that's how I decided to leave.
Correct. But I know many students like they scared whether they will get this type of job roles again. But now like you almost complete this journey. So how you're feeling like this is a bold decision in your career. So now you're feeling it is a good decision or bad decision. What is your opinion?
Yes, of course, I feel it's worth it. So if I was there, I would have still have a job, but I don't think, maybe my salary would have increased by 2,000, 3,000 rupees. That's all.
Mm,
I can't expect it to grow more than that. So
mm,
at the time it was risky because I was quitting a job, especially a job that many people wish for. But still,
mm,
I as looking back, I can see that it's worth it, because I took a
mm,
risk. even joining the IIT Bill, I think was after MTech also. It was even that was a short-term project. So people would say, why would you go for a short-term project? But ultimately, it helped my profile working in an
Correct.
IIT and working in a research sector. So I would
Mm,
recommend anyone, like if you don't have any like a really bad financial situation or anything, you can afford to take 1 year of some low salary or something, then I would
mm.
definitely. So looking back, I don't regret anything because it was worth it. Now that I got a funded project and I don't have to spend anything for my PhD, I think it was worth it.
Correct. Okay, so before I come to your PhD thing, I want to know about your MTech life. Like, how was the life in NIT Meghalaya? Then, how you select the supervisor? What was your project? And when you decided to go for PhD?
Okay, so to be honest, in MTech second year, like first year, I was just going through the course, just like that. As you said, it was online course.
Mm,
I was trying to study, and that's the coursework. So when I went to campus, it was time to decide the. So what I did, like what everyone would do, is talk to our seniors, like about the different faculties, how they are.
mm,
So I talked to some seniors, and I found out like some personalities, some characteristics, and different topics of the faculties. So
mm,
basically, we had some few students and equal number of faculties. So everyone could choose one faculty based on the topic. So they already tell us a topic, and we can decide. So
mm,
I decided to go with my guide because yeah, I heard some good things about him. So I heard it's you can actually have a freedom to do research under him. So that's how
mm,
I decided to. My MTech project was on solar air heater. So I worked on a new software called Transys software. So even there, it was a bit risky in the beginning because I was working in a new software. Even the PhD students are working in ANSYS and different software. So I had to do on a new software. Even my guide was telling me that, are you able to do? And I said, okay, I'll try to learn it. So initially the
mm,
movement was first semester obviously was a bit slow because I had to learn a new software and stuff, but ultimately even that paid off because I could project that I am capable of learning new things, like
mm,
starting pioneering work in the lab. Even that I
mm,
highlighted even during my visa interview, no, sorry, my PhD faculty interviews and in the US. So
mm.
even that was helpful ultimately. So that was how, but and then it was during 2022, even my final semester actually, that I decided to that I wanted to PhD and
Okay.
abroad. And I heard that you needed a paper, like a paper
Mm,
in a journal or a conference paper to boost your profile. So till then, actually, I had not thought about it. So I just took a gamble and I thought I needed a paper from this work. And I just approached my guide, and I didn't know how he would react, but he was also very encouraging. He said, okay, we can do this, make a paper out of it. So
mm,
that's how part of my thesis work I made it into a conference paper only. But even that I presented in a conference in NIT Calicut international. It was an international conference, and even
okay.
that was helpful because so many when I mailed so many professors in the US, they asked me, "Do you have anything to prove your writing experience research?" So I could send
Yes.
this paper. So
Mm,
even for that, I had to like go even after completing my MTech, I had to spend some time on correcting the manuscript and sending it again and sending it again. But ultimately, even that was worth it. So I would say it was during my final semester that I decided that I wanted to PhD, like fully confirm. And the first step I took was doing my master's thesis well and producing a paper for that. So that
mm,
was
mm.
when I decided to do that.
Yeah, I also agree with you. This thing, like, you should write something, write a conference paper, write a book chapter, even review articles. So what happened with me when I was in masters? Many students in my lab, like, they always tell me like you are always after publication. I published 4 papers in my masters. 2 are journals and one is conference and one is book chapter. Because I know like during PhD these things are very very helpful.
Yes.
So this seemed correct. Like when I got selected, I asked my supervisor. Sometimes I discuss with him like how you select me, how you select international students. So writing, they want to check your writing. Publications are very important.
Yeah.
If you can write something, it's very very good.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my next question is like in the 4th semester, okay. you decided like you want to go for PhD, you have one conference paper, then how you proceed next? Did you write any exam? Did you write GRE? So how you decided like you want to go to USA, not Europe? So I want to know
Okay.
about this. Yeah.
Uh, s- so the thing is, initially, to be honest, when I was first looking abroad, it just was abroad only.
Mhm.
But then I didn't know anyone in Europe per se. I talked to some of my like people I knew who were already doing in the US, and they were saying good things about the funding there. And
Mhm.
most importantly, the opportunities after PhD, I felt personally felt, I don't know if it's true, but I felt it's more in the US than in the Europe because of the
Mhm.
like the large country, so many industries. So I even now I'm not decided like I want to go into academics or I want to go anywhere. Even now I'm just thinking maybe I should go to industry. So if for industry also, I felt like USA was a much better option than Europe, even though funding is there in Europe also. But if I want to go into industry, then US is more option, and there are more like every state is like a country there. I felt so there. I felt like there is
Mhm.
more probability. So
One
yeah,
very big advantage of US I want to mention, sorry to interrupt you,
okay, no,
that is like US is English speaking country. This will help you later on in your career. Basically, if
okay,
you
yes, sir.
are in non-English speaking country, sometimes you got stuck in maybe in corporate, maybe in teaching. You are not able to merge with people. But US is English speaking, you can easily merge with the people, and that is a very big advantage of US, I would say.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah, even that is there. So that's how I decided for US, and I found out that you needed to have GRE and like basically TOEFL or IELTS for that. And even I was asking you, sir, which should I go for? And I
Mhm.
initially felt that everyone was going for TOEFL, but I found out that universities were willing to accept IELTS also. So
Mhm.
that's why after passing my beat, like 2022 and when I joined YourPedia and I started preparing for GRE and IELTS. And GRE, I started preparing using the resources that were already uploaded, recorded sessions and all. Of the YourPedia portal, I used that. I used to prepare that. And in November 2022, I wrote GRE. And 1 month before, in October, I got IELTS. I wrote IELTS, and thankfully, I got good scores in both. So that also gave me confidence. See, my profile is getting better, so even now I can show this also, uh, plus my technical abilities, plus my this scores also. So that was also a big confidence booster.
So what is your score in GRE and
uh,
IELTS?
IELTS, I got overall score of 7.5,
Okay.
and for GRE I got 321 overall score.
That's really a good score actually. For PhD, actually GRE score doesn't matter, but if you like above 320, you are considered as very brilliant student.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I heard that. That's why it gave me confidence that I can apply on top of. So that's how. Yeah. So I wrote those two exams, and then I
Mm,
parallelly started the mailing process and preparing
mm,
CV and started mailing. That's how the exams.
mm.
So these two are the exams. Main two exams I wrote.
Okay. So during this process, do you think like if some student is aspiring to go for USA for fully funded PhD, do you think they need mentors, or you think like student can do it by themselves also?
So I would say that you need to have your own motivation,
Mhm.
but obviously having a first someone with first-hand knowledge is very important. So
Mm,
since as I used to contact you also because you were doing PhD already in the US, you had followed this process. So that gave me
mm,
confidence that I'm asking not just anyone and not just Googling and finding out. I'm just hearing from a person who's already doing it. So I would recommend some like to have a mentor just like for that point, and of course so
mm,
many other benefits, but that point itself is a very important factor that someone who's already gone through the process telling you is different from someone who's
mm,
like generally motivated. So I feel like the mentors are really is helpful because especially because this doesn't happen in one day. This is a long process,
yeah.
so in between you may get discouraged. So that demotivation can come at moments like especially the mailing process is I feel like the most probably demotivating. Sometimes you can get sent 10-20 mails a day and next day morning nothing can come.
Nothing
So
comes. Yeah.
yeah, so I
I
have got
remember that feeling.
so
Yeah.
even for me it all happened in one day. First 20-30 mails, like no one replied. And one day I just like still went through with another 20-30 mail, and one day everyone replied together. So it happens just like that. So in between
Yes,
this
yes.
period, if it's good to have someone tell you that you should go stick with it. You should stick with. If you are alone, the probability of quitting, I felt, is more. So maybe it's good to have a mentor during those times. So yeah, the
Yes.
mailing experience was the most up and down feeling I had, because
Every student has that feeling. I talk to many students, not only from India. I am talking to some students from Iran, Egypt. They also have same cycle. Like sometimes they send lot of emails, no reply. Sometimes they send only five and they got five replies.
yes, yes.
So that is there. Okay, so my next question is like, what is the role of documents? First of all, I believe like CV is the most important document for your PhD. I don't think GRE is that much important. I believe CV is the most important thing. So, how was your experience? Like how you prepared your document, then how you draft your email, and then how you shortlist the professors. So, how was it basically?
Okay, so as you know, the YourPedia provides one module when we join, and in
Mhm,
that CV is there, the format of the like CV, and the mail format also we get. So I use
mhm,
that only. The mail format I followed exactly that.
mhm,
Of course, I send it to correction for mentors. Even my CV before joining YourPedia was like a totally different one, the one I used to apply for
mhm,
jobs and stuff. So this one is totally different, which highlights your research experience. And even I wouldn't have done a CV like that alone. So again, I have to thank the mentors for that, because so many different ways to highlight our work. So I was
mhm,
like, initially when we were a bit reluctant to, I was personally reluctant to put some things like, uh, you can highlight the same thing in different ways. So the CV, I followed the YourPedia format. The mail also, I followed the format. And as you
mhm,
said, sir, I agree with you that CV is the most important. Even GRE score, they don't ask. Even only the university asks mostly. Some professors
mhm.
do ask, but they just want to know if you're eligible. That's all.
Yeah.
But CV is the one that they go through. And mail template, I followed exactly that. And so yeah, CV, and I had just sent that mail using the format. And shortlisting process, even for that, there's a Excel file that the YourPedia provides.
Mhm,
So I followed that. Basically, my is this one day I would sit and shortlist 2 or 3 colleges. I go to the department and find out people who are working so I
mhm,
would write their mail ID, and
mhm.
then I just have to basically change the name and the college name in the mail
Yeah.
template. Then just the area of interest also. You should be careful about that
Mhm,
also. These 3 points we change, we can send a lot of mails in a single day. So
mhm,
that's the thing I followed. So some days I would go 4 or 5 colleges, and if there are 3-4 processes, then you usually get 20 mails a day. So that's the process I followed. I would attach a CV, and sometimes they would just reply back. So initially I did not have my GRE and IELTS score, so I wouldn't send it. But since I got a good score, I thought it would be a good add-on. After
mhm,
getting my scores, I just kept it just in case. I attached my GRE and IELTS score just in case, because some of the process replied asking, "Do you have a GRE score?" So I thought just I would put it, since I don't need to be shy of that. So, but
mhm.
I think CV is the most important. Just with CV itself, they replied to the our mails if
So
they
how
want.
many emails you send to different professors?
So I sent a lot of. I think I sent around 250 mails. Uh,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
almost the whole. Initially, I was not confident, so I started from the university rankings is there. So I started from the
Hmm.
bottom, and then I got a bit more replies, so I went up. And
Hmm.
so if you say like that, there are more than 100 plus colleges in that list itself. So if you
Hmm.
just have 2 professors in one college itself, I don't think I went to 100 colleges, but still,
Hmm.
if you will take 4 professors in our field in and 50.
Hmm.
So I was not that much strict. Like I just want someone who's exactly working in my field. I was a bit more liberal, open to working in
Hmm.
a like broader area, not like
Hmm.
it has to be related to my MTech thesis or anything like that. I
Hmm.
was working in anything in my MTech, like fluid and thermal, just MTech degree. So
Hmm.
for me, I had more options. I felt. I've
Okay.
talked to some of my other friends who were like very strict about like exactly this was what I did in MTech, so I'll do only continue that. So I think they have a limited much limited option, but I was more
Mhm.
open to working. So that's why I think this big number came. But I think, yeah, 100, 150, and I would
Mhm.
say around 20, 25 people maybe replied. Like some people
Mhm.
reply with that they are not taking this year at least, and
Mhm.
some people reply some follow-up questions they have. Do we, like the professor I got in Oklahoma, he asked me whether you have experiment. I have some questions. Do you have
Yeah.
experimental? Can you send your paper? So paper, I wouldn't say you should attach in your first mail, but sometimes if they ask follow-up question, you can send your conference paper or a
Mhm.
thesis also. They sometimes ask.
Okay, yeah, my next question is related to that only. So this professor in Oklahoma, so when you send him email, in like how many days you will get reply or you will get immediate reply from him?
So for his case, I was taking just now, like I actually got reply the same day, in the sense that, yeah, American time only. So it comes at night when we get up in the morning, mail was there. So
Mhm.
I sent in October last. That was before I wrote a GRE and all.
Mhm.
He replied the same day. So I felt like if they want to reply, they'll reply the same day mostly. 95%,
Correct.
I feel like that. So he replied the same day asking all these follow-up questions. And I responded back saying, sir, these are the things, like this is, I have writing
Mhm.
experience. I'm interested in experimental, I have experience in experimental, like thesis also. So, and again, he replied the next day, I think, saying, okay, your seems profile seems a good fit. If you are interested, then please go ahead and apply as soon as possible, and
Mhm.
then get back to me. So that was in October, November beginning, and then
Mhm.
after getting my GRE and all, I applied in January only when the
Okay.
applications open. So in January I applied, and then I mailed him saying, "Sir, I have applied as per your interest."
Mhm.
And then he replied immediately saying, "Okay, I'll go through and get back to you this month itself."
Mhm.
But actually, he didn't get back that month. Actually, I had to wait till March.
Okay.
March only, beginning only, he replied saying, just now only I got time. So can you
Mhm.
attend an interview in March? So in 2, 3 days, he scheduled an interview, and
Mhm.
based on that interview, he decided that okay, it was a very long, 1 hour plus interview, and I wouldn't call it
Mhm.
an interview. It was more like he was explaining more than I was. I was
Mhm.
listening,
It's
doing the
just
listening.
an interaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is totally different experience to once I attended in India. I mean,
Mhm.
almost most of the process were doing the talking. We were just at home, nod along,
Mhm.
and all. So, and during the meeting itself, he said that okay, I'll send you a acceptance letter in 2, 3 days. And just like he said, after a few days, the college contacted me with offer letter. So yeah.
Okay, I see. So I think interview is just an interaction, and he already made up his mind to select you, and they just want to see your personality,
Verify,
how you
yeah.
are. Yeah. Okay, that's great. And in the offer letter, like, do you get funding in the very beginning, or and how much funding you will get for how many years?
Okay, so he said that it will be a combination of TA, and in the offer letter is mentioned that
Mhm.
half of it will be TA, half will be RA.
Mhm.
So in that it is mentioned that I'll get, for Oklahoma, I'm getting $2,200. So $2,200, and it is said that I'll get in the beginning, uh, like you have to split. If you do TA duty, you'll get half, and RA also obviously you're doing. So I don't know if in the beginning do you mean not immediately after I joined, probably after one semester I'm getting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and on top of that, I think they're offering me some $5,000 scholarship. I think they give to PhD students. So that will be split for every I think 1,000 in the first semester, 1,000 in the next semester, like that. They'll split and give for 2 years. Still they reach $5,000. So that is extra. Other than this, 2,200 is monthly stipend. That
That's really nice, actually. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if they said, as per my I-20 form, it is for, he said 4 to 5 years, but in my offer
Mhm.
letter it is not mentioned till when, but till completion is kind of
I think
understood.
every year they renew this offer letters.
Okay.
So mostly it works like that. But
Okay.
anyhow, Noel, like this is a very great experience. I learned a lot from your experience, and I think one of the thing which I observed in you, whatever I told you or whatever YourPedia told you, you blindly follow that. And I see two type of students in my career. So one student they blindly follow, and if they follow the right person, I think they get the selection. There are some students who like just go here and there, check on internet, check on with their friends also, and sometimes they get demotivated and they don't apply, or they stop sending emails. So at that point, I think students stop getting success also if they stop sending emails. So this is, I think, learning from your case. Just be patient and go on. Keep sending emails. So thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming on
sir.
YourPedia.
Thank
And
you.
if you want to say anything to our prospective student who are going to get PhD in the next year or who are trying in USA, so if you want to say anything, you can.
Okay, sir, yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I would say, just as you said, I trusted the process. That's basically what I
Mm,
did. I trusted the process. Because this process was vetted by people who have already gone through it. So, as you said, just like resuming randomly things on the internet,
mm,
you know, the vendors in YourPedia, people who have gone through this, and therefore they can verify. So they're not just simply saying just to motivate you; they're saying out of experience also. So that's why I followed the process. So I would my advice, like my encouragement would be to like basically trust the process and go. Don't stop in the middle. Don't stop after
mm,
10 mails or 20 mails, or just two colleges, just two dream colleges or nothing like that. I would say uh, go for with it. Like, it's a long process. It takes around 5 6 months. I started in
mm,
October, like the process, and even now I'm just near the visa interview slot. So
mm,
I would say, don't give up in the middle, and trust the process, and don't take lightly whatever advice the mentors are giving you, because they're saying it out of like they even not only from their own experience, other students experience also. So
mm,
they know what works and what doesn't work. So I would
mm.
say, stick with it, and yeah, you'll get success eventually.
Yes, thank you very much again for coming on YourPedia, and all the
Thank
very
you.
best. All the best for visa interview as well. So
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
Noel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.